You heard about the harm some women suffered at Kermit Gosnell's Women's Medical Society. Those injuries, those deaths, all unintentional. Not so, witnesses say, in the case of babies born alive in the clinic.
He was inducing labor, and he was having these women deliver babies and deliver fetuses.
The witnesses testified that the means by which these babies' lives were taken wasn't a traditional type of abortion procedure. They were drugged up, birth would be induced, and once the baby left the mother's body, taking its first breath, at that point, that's how this doctor elected to kill these babies.
He had a process that he referred to as snipping, that the children would be born alive, and that they would then take scissors and place them at the base of the skull and snip or sever the spinal cord of those children that were born alive.
This is a very, very painful thing. And some of these babies did not die immediately.
Those aren't botched abortions, that's homicide.
And the reason he was doing this is because he had 46 lawsuits, and he was paying out money for women who were maimed and mutilated. And it was easier to deliver a baby rather than go in there and extract it himself.
The grand jury heard about that from Steve Massoff, a Grenada med school grad who worked as Gosnell's $300 a week unlicensed medical resident.
Well, the fetus would precipitate.
What do you mean?
Oh, come right out. I'd have to go and tend to that patient.
What would you do?
I'd make sure that when, if the fetus precipitated, the cord was cut. Also a standard procedure, the cervical spine was cut.
How often did this happen?
Many times more than I really care to remember. I would have to say every week it would happen to at least 50% of the patients.
There was testimony given to the grand jury that this process of snipping happened hundreds of times.
One of Gosnell's assistants, Karima Cross, testified that at one point Gosnell told her the law had changed and he couldn't snip babies' necks anymore. So Gosnell tried injecting a drug called digoxin into the fetus's heart to kill it in the womb. But Gosnell couldn't do it right, Cross testified.
He tried to do the needle in the stomach, and that's what was supposed to have killed the baby before the baby came out. But if it didn't, he'll say, oh, well, the law says that I can do it. I can still slit the baby's neck because it didn't work. The needle didn't work.
According to Cross and others, the needle never worked. So, the grand jury found Gosnell stopped trying it altogether and reverted to his old system of killing babies after they were born.
I think there's a lot of evidence here that it didn't matter to this doctor one bit whether he killed the fetus inside the womb or outside the womb. As a matter of fact, it was clear that in his late-term abortions, he was using medications to dope up the patient and try to get the baby out and then kill it outside the womb.
The babies allegedly born alive never got names. The grand jury would refer to some by letters, starting with baby boy A.
Baby boy A is born, and they are so alarmed at the size and the development, all the features, all the body parts. They took photographs because they were horrified. This was something that was terribly wrong, what was happening there, and they knew it.
Gosnell's sonogram records say the mother was 29.4 weeks pregnant. That's well beyond the legal limit for an abortion in Pennsylvania. But a prosecution expert who looked at the pictures concluded that baby boy A was at least 32 weeks in the womb.
A 30-week fetus has an over 80% chance of surviving. I have delivered babies at 24 weeks, and now they come and see me, and they're high school students, and, so 30 weeks, come on.
Karima Cross told the grand jury that baby boy A was breathing when she saw Dr. Gosnell, quote, just slit its neck, and then put the body in a shoebox too small to hold him.
One of the most shocking and horrifying aspects was the testimony that Dr. Gosnell stated that this baby boy was big enough to take him, walk him to the bus stop.
The body of baby boy B would be found in Gosnell's freezer.
Baby boy B is 28 weeks old, at an age when babies can feel, found frozen in a water bottle with evidence of the spine being snipped from behind, the vertebrae penetrated, something that would cause great pain.
And there was only one thing defect, as the medical examiner testified, out of this beautiful baby boy you saw there in the photo. And it was the slit to the back of the neck, and the testimony was that scissors were put through and perforated through that area to cut the spinal cord and kill the baby.
Based on the grand jury report, not all the killing was done by Gosnell himself. Cross testified she witnessed Linda Williams, another unlicensed Gosnell assistant, murder a baby, baby C, who had been breathing and moving for 20 minutes.
Williams called Cross over to take a look at the baby. And when Ms. Cross was asked, why do you think Ms. Williams killed this baby that was alive, that was breathing, that was moving for 20 minutes? She said, I guess because she had seen Dr. Gosnell do it so many times.
Some deliveries did not happen on an operating table.
There were women who, because they were given so much medications, they were going to the bathroom and they would deliver babies into the toilet.
In the later stages of pregnancy, the only thing holding the baby in place is often a tight cervix. But a drug like Cytotec, when it's administered, relaxes the cervix. So a woman could be literally sitting in the bathroom and deliver a baby. That's a live birth.
When baby D, 10 to 15 inches long, was delivered in a toilet, Gosnell's assistant, Adrian Moten, took over.
Moten reached in where this little baby, swimming, trying to save its own life and get out of the toilet, grabbed the baby and slit its neck.
Moten has admitted to killing live babies, quote, a good 10 times. According to testimony, others just watched and did nothing.
Baby E is a baby that Ashley Baldwin, one of the witnesses, testified that she saw in the procedure room. She heard the baby whining, making crying noises. The baby was alive. When the doctor came out of the room, the baby was dead. She saw the baby thrown in the trash like garbage by Dr. Gosnell.
Have you ever seen a horror movie where you hear a baby crying in a room and the murderer goes into the room and then the baby stops crying? That's baby E.
Massoff testified he personally cut the necks of multiple babies and assisted when Gosnell snipped the necks of live babies F and G. Baby G is the last murder victim named by the grand jury, but the panel believes Gosnell killed many more babies outside the sight of his compliant staff.
We know that Dr. Gosnell would perform the latest of late-term abortions on Sundays when none of his other staff members were present, when only he and his wife would come into the clinic. And we really have no way of accurately determining beyond a reasonable doubt how many children met their demise as a result of these Sunday late-term abortions.
Despite Gosnell's alleged steps to avoid detection, it's hard to believe that sooner or later his enterprise would not be found out. But it took 31 years, and not for the reason you'd think. That story when we return.
To order a copy of this and other Fox News reporting specials on DVD, go to www.foxnews.com/special.